r/atheism. Electric Vehicle says. Coworker had a comeback. I'm struggling to respond to. Yeah, we got into it at work. Good-natured guy, though, so I wasn't afraid to jump into the conversation. This was at the end of a long-ass call about boring accounting work between the two of us, and I think we both needed some mental stimulation. He basically said that, if the atheist part that religion comes from people is true, then nothing really gets solved if we get rid of religion. We'll have the same problems, because religious dogma reflects human nature. You may as well keep religion, because of the good it does, and because people will just worship cults of personality anyway, that is. North Korea's Kim Dynasty. I countered with the classic Hitchens line about name some horrible thing that only a believer could do but a non-believer won't, but I'm still wrestling with his point. What do you think? Hanky Stunk Man says. I would argue that we could solve a lot more problems by being rid of silly superstitions. We oppose things that would benefit others because we have religious concepts that embrace suffering and pain as just because we have original sin. We embrace concepts of patriarchy and hierarchy because they are established religious norms. When you get rid of religion, you also make a conscious decision to make this life better and not spend it prepping for something imaginary afterwards. Lord Magnus 101 says. Not to mention the way religion has shoehorned its way into politics. It would be great to not have that being such a dominating factor in politics. We shouldn't be governing with it. Rocky Jones says. If I was a Christian, I would be upset about MAGA dragging Jesus' name through the mud and destroying his brand. I'm not a believer, but my opinion of Christians has dropped a lot because of their sudden ultranationalist, fascist turn. When I hear Marjorie Taylor Greene say that Putin is defending Christianity, I think, frick Christianity. Sun Zero Sanf Zero Road says. If the atheist part that religion comes from people is true, then nothing really gets solved if we get rid of religion. Well, of course religion comes from people. Where else would it come from? Ibn Move says. In other words, if some practice or activity that took up a lot of people's time and energy was proven to be ineffective, but stopping that activity didn't solve any problems, we might as well continue doing that ineffective activity. I think there's a flaw in logic here. Actually, it could potentially solve a lot of problems. If those people who were wasting a lot of time and energy doing the ineffective activity instead put their efforts into productive activities, the world would be a better place. Two hands working can do more than 1,000 clasped in prayer. Madeline Murray O'Hare. Sun Zero Sanf Zero Road says. Of course. But ultimately I don't really care what people do, as long as they're doing good doing it. Take Jimmy Carter as an example. This MFer is older than Methuselah and builds houses for homeless people and considers it Christ's work. Why do I care if he believes in Christ or not? He's housing the homeless. Take this quote by Fannie Lou Hamer, you can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in your lap. Get up and do something is the important part, and if it's helping people, so be it. Dinosaurus Rex says. Bad people will do bad things regardless. Sometimes they even manage to do good things. Good people will do good things regardless. But the only things that can convince good people to do bad things are money, desperation, and religion. Dankscut says. Yeah well, the jerk store called and they're running out of you. Ghost Fluffer says. Well, I had sex with your wife. Thibajeverabadi says. He basically said that if the atheist part that religion comes from people is true, then nothing really gets solved if we get rid of religion. We'll have the same problems because religious dogma reflects human nature. You may as well keep religion because of the good it does and because people will just worship cults of personality anyway, that is. North Korea's Kim Dynasty. That's why it's important to educate people on science and critical thinking, so we can stop falling for the same stupid shit we've been falling for over the last several thousand years. There's a pretty clear correlation between education and atheism. And also there's not one good thing in religion that we can't have without religion. It would be nice to get rid of all the horrors of religion. r/atheism. Not Mrston Johnson says. We're praying for you. I'm currently sitting in the hospital listening to my husband breathe as he sleeps while we wait for a pathology report to see what type of brain tumor he has. Our life has been completely upended in the last week. We are both atheists that are originally from the South and grew up religious. As we've told family, we have gotten a lot of "we're praying so hard for you too." While I inherently don't really mind, I don't know what to say. I know they mean well, and am trying to view it as just more positivity in the universe thrown our way. This experience has not once made me want to pray. I hope, of course, and I'm trying to surround him with positivity and optimism, while being realistic as well. I have been thinking about those that are offering prayers. I actually can't imagine being a believer while going through this. I couldn't imagine wanting to worship something that would allow this to happen. I would be absolutely livid at a being that would so callously let someone go through something so painful, mental and emotional in this case. And it's God's will bullshit? Screw that nonsense. Somehow, it actually gives me some comfort in knowing no one is in charge. Yes, this absolutely sucks. But it happens all the time, and our number was just up. We will do everything possible to fight this, and we will do it with love and medicine and science. I'm not actually sure what my point is, since I'm beyond exhausted, but this experience only further cements my belief that there is no God. Mentus says. That's terrible news. If you feel a need to respond to this as an atheist, just send a veiled message to them. Something like "Thanks, I trust the doctors will do their best." And leave it at that. No need to create any drama while you're going through this. Foilhead 44 says. Your husband will need your strength if his fails him. You cannot afford to waste energy on anger over such a trivial subject as God. The plain truth is that they feel like they have to say something, and they don't know any better. I feel for you, I fight it every day, but you sound reasonable and strong. That's all you need. Let people help, you'll need support, but you and your husband will have to grit this out together. For what it's worth, the thoughts of a middle-aged man that you don't know in Southern California are with you. Good luck. Holiday Horse 3100 says. Sometimes just saying a courteous thank you is all you need to say. No reason to cause drama over the belief difference. You have too much else on your mind to worry about this. So sorry that your husband and you are going through this. So hard to do. Blueswan 43 says. Just be as gracious as you can manage. I have been really angry at times when I hear that stuff. It can be hard to not just lose it. We have a 33-year-old complex cardiac kid. Hypatia Redux says. Or thank you for thinking of us. I agree, you have plenty on your plate already. Like you, they are stunned, fearful, and worried. Focus on what unites you. Exercisemony 5466 says. The best response is a non-judgmental thank you. Nothing more or less. A Gravitating Bobcat 574 says. What do I say when someone says we are praying for you? Just say thank you. Assume it comes from a caring place. They mean well, and in their society, it's what they do. We as atheists don't have to have a confrontation every time a Christian goes all Christian nigh. Kim 711 says. This experience only further cements my belief that there is no God. My heart goes out to you. It's these times in life where we must draw on our personal strength, surrender, and let the chips fall. We just moved my elderly mother with dementia into our home. Watching the strong mom that raised us turn into an angry, confused shell of her former self is so cruel. Having prayers answered, or feeling as though she or I have done something to be punished for in this way is nonsense. Yet another of so many reasons presented during living life to disbelieve. I believe in science and the process of life without assigning all that happens to a god. It's all random. It's not a bitterness. I'm actually so glad to have never been indoctrinated and know that this is just life. We don't know everything, and that's okay. Not knowing is part of life's experience. I think it's brave. r/atheism. Realistic Bus 9540 says, religion is a thing of the past. Could be unpopular opinion. Imagine world without all the religions. There is only one positive thing that any religion brings, and that is false hope. On the other hand, the negative things, violence, abuse, absolutely stupid reasons to start wars. To me, religion is a thing of the past. The modern world would be so much better without it. Sure, maybe we would lose some of the beautiful churches and big part of the history. Honestly, none of it would have to be destroyed. But even if it would be worth it for the sake of moving forward and improving as species. Of course, this is just the rant of some atheist. Carmadora Christie says, religion is a very lucrative scam. It isn't going anywhere. Nexus 6 Leon says, it should be a thing of the past. It should be looked at the same way we look at bloodletting, and the bottom is in medicine. Archaic, crude, abusive, invasive, ineffective, and created by whack jobs who didn't like women having feelings and opinions. Zealots are too afraid of feeling like they are losing control they never had, or never should have had. It changes their entire life purpose. They have spent their whole lives in accordance with their ideology. Abandoning it would mean they have wasted all that time they have, and that it meant nothing. It is meaningless. Religion is so frickin' important that billions of people from the dawn of time have lived fruitful and happy lives knowing the ineradicable objective fact that one fairy tale is not more real than any other. Slightly Madangus says, religions are like thing roaches. They will always exist, whether you can see them or not. Lumpiswag Meister says, organized religions are the root of evil. Mind control constructs to rule the masses. International Plan 325 says, I wish this were true. Now, they are trying to force it into goddamn schools. Forced subjection to religion before a certain age should be illegal. Like alcohol. Also, what the frick is it still doing on our money and in our court systems? MRP 0972 says, it isn't going anywhere. Too many in power want to keep the people ignorant. Lower Akanthasari 423 says, it's a thing of the past, sure. But it's going to try and hold on to life as long as it can. It still craves power. Sonnen says, jettisoning religion doesn't require us to burn down beautiful churches or lose other cultural artifacts. Why can't we keep our heritage while not believing in magic? Feminine Thashak says, how is false hope a positive? Wordwood 1337 says, it is, but it's also adapting. We're watching it mutate in real time. Without getting partisan about it, all you have to do is look at the outsized role politics has taken on in many people's lives. Any kid can tell you about the morality of Captain America or understand the sacrifice that Iron Man made to save the universe from Thanos. Jesus though. Only the broad strokes. Why talk to your weirdo pastor about your struggles when you can Zoom with someone who is a trained mental health professional? Why bother with an expensive church wedding when you can have a destination wedding instead? Why spend every Sunday watching a kid-friendly lecture with musical breaks when you could get Disney Plus for less than your tithe? All of the functions of religion are get offloaded onto and grafted into other institutions. That's mostly good news, but it's also likely to make those institutions more Elgin-like over time. Religion has been an effective force for all of human history, and for good reason. Our brains are wired for it, and it will absolutely be a part of our future. It will have some new forms, as alien from Christianity as the Germanic gods were, but it's coming. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.